Okay, hello old-timers and newcomers. I am keen to play Plunge. This is not actually a game as such, it's one of those virtual reality experiences offering you a new take on something old or something that you may otherwise never experience. I don't feel up to playing any kind of energetic or any game that demands efforts, basically. I'm feeling awful today. So, rather than doing that, I thought we'd just have a nice, relaxing... Ooh, fancy... Aha. There's a twist I didn't see coming. A nice, relaxing visit to the museum. Starting with Young Woman Reading a Letter by an Open Window by Johannes Vermeer from 1659. Spooky. I can't say I'm overly familiar with Vermeer, but I remember studying a little bit of him back in art school. I have to say, the way the distance is painted in roughly the same style as him, with this, at the risk of being redundant, in his painterly style, wherein you can see where, despite the incredible realism of the piece, you can still tell it's a brushwork. On the other hand, I feel like a lot of the realism that Vermeer manages to convey in his painting is lost in the virtual reality experience of the thing. Especially considering, far as I remember, Vermeer was more interested in the quiet, solitary moments that can be caught on a small, intimate scale. Looking out and seeing the landscape over there with the gulls and the water and all of that, it looks painterly. That looks more like Large, if I may say so, just with a lot more realism to it. This feels like stepping into the painting, but also Vermeer's paintings were basically photographs. That's how amazing they were. Here, seeing the angular shape of the models and the textures, I feel like more has gone lost than been added to this moment. So how do I leave again? Oh, like that. Okay, will I be able to show this on YouTube? Okay, this one I am a bit more impressed by. See, the thing about Venus is that... I love the slight effect of wind blowing. And they're all blinking as well. Well, this is starting to transition into creepy, but the thing about this painting is it's stylized. For actually, saying stylized is too simple of a word. I just can't think of anything better to call it. But this feels like we have stepped into a fantastical landscape. This feels a lot like a lot of the virtual reality games that I've played. So it's a lot less jarring than the Vermeer painting that we entered earlier. And my impression of it is a lot more... Is profound the right word? I'm not sure, but because I'm used to the more stylized graphics of video games in their various forms in virtual reality, stepping into this painting, it doesn't feel as jarring, so this one I do feel like more has been added than taken away. This feels like a moment that I would love to experience someday in a virtual reality game of some sort. I can't really think of what at the moment, but this is fairy tale-esque. This is fantasy. This is the kind of thing that you close your eyes and you find yourself experiencing in a dream. I am very pleased to have come here. Ladies, gentlemen, and lady. I have seen the Mona Lisa. It's smaller than this. Oh. Alright. The performance artist, I can't remember what her name is, but she is famous, among other things. She put herself as a work of art in a museum environment and put a bunch of things on a table in front of her and allowed people to do whatever they wanted to her. It was supposed to be an expression of an interpretation of a demonstration of power over subject and one of those things that sounds a lot more profound than it really is. Especially considering, as far as I remember, she did have to use some of her assistants to really get the ball going. And towards the end, one of them picked up a gun from the table and was going to shoot her, but that was all staged and it was aborted at that moment. If I remember correctly, I may be misremembering or mixing it up with the satire House MD did of that. But anyway, what I remember is she did a performance wherein she sat down at a table and she allowed hotel guests, museum visitors, to sit down one by one and look into her eyes for 5 minutes, and then they would walk away and the next one in line would do the same. Because I can't remember what the point of that was. Something along the lines of having a legitimate moment with the artist rather than examining the artwork. but at the same time it being staged, so wherein does the limit for where the artist ends and the art begins go? That's what this reminds me of. I get to sit here, staring into the eyes of Mona Lisa, widely regarded as one of the most beautiful women ever painted. And honestly, it's kind of therapeutic, because sitting here talking about this, looking into her eyes, this is something I struggle with a lot on a daily basis. So I feel like I don't have to strain to express myself as much as I usually do. It's quite freeing, actually. Other than that, I like the small details, like the helicopter Da Vinci made and the... what's it called? The autopsy drawings. And of course the Venetian man over there. And also, I like the landscape in the background. Da Vinci, he did landscapes, he did portraits. And all of this feels very much on point, so it feels a lot more immersive. This feels like it's towing the line between adding and withdrawing. It's a very neat way of experiencing the painting, but is it the same as experiencing the painting? Having been to Paris and seen the painting, I can say no. This is... okay, I'm not gonna blaspheme and say that this feels more. Honestly, just going to Paris and seeing this painting in person, it's the middle ground between the journey being the journey is what made it worth it. You know, sitting on a plane, going through the queues, standing in line, just, you know, waiting for the moment where you couldn't see it, and we had to immediately go to the plane afterwards. So basically it was just a matter of time of cinching it right at that moment, and then finally seeing the painting. Yeah. Making that journey to seeing the painting and seeing it's just as beautiful as you have seen in all the pictures you've ever, in all the photographs you've ever seen of it, that is special. However, if you can't do that, and what you can do is just, you know, look up the painting online and seeing all the many high resolution photographs there are of it, some, you know, as big as this room. This is better than that, because you can do that on any device. You can do that on your smartphone, you can do that on your computer. But actually being inside the painting, using the virtual reality headset, this feels more special than just doing that. It's not as special as seeing the painting in real life, you don't really go through any effort to reach this moment once you have the headset. Or then again, maybe you do. Maybe you work hard to afford a virtual reality headset, and experiencing all that virtual reality has to offer, then that would... The journey towards the destination is part of the prize, so to speak. But yeah, I enjoy this one. I enjoy this moment. It's a good thing I haven't taken my medicine. Ugh. Unpleasant. Okay, pleasant again. This is very Burton-esque. The hand-painted environment, the extreme stylization, all the swirls. Yeah, this reminds me a lot of Tim Burton. Reminds me a bit of German expressionism, I think is the term, wherein you get these extreme contrast between light and shadow, these deformed environments, and all of it being something like a reflection of the mental state of the characters. Which, again, Tim Burton drew a lot of inspiration from. I've never gotten that feeling from the actual painting. So it's an interesting it's an interesting experience. It's a new way of experiencing the painting, but I don't know, I can't say that this is better than the actual painting. It's weird, but I think something is lost in making it three-dimensional and giving it depth. I'm not sure why or what, but I think I would rather look at the actual painting rather than being in here, even if it is a neat experience. Oh. Martin Eklund and Martin Christensen. Might be Swedish, might be Danish, I'm not sure, but either way, it seems that we are at the end of the art tour, so... Okay, I like the little effect wherein the fingers is where the swirl or Gee, what? Okay. This I was not prepared for. I dare say some liberties have been taken here. If not, then I have a few questions. Okay, needless to say, this one definitely added. But also, for taking so much liberty, this is oddly dissatisfying. I mean, it's a jarring change. definitely shocking, definitely something you're not prepared for, but once you get over that initial shock, I mean, I've played Alien Isolation, but I haven't played it in virtual reality, and I still think that gave more of a sense of bottomless, infinite space on every side, everywhere. Not to mention the magnitude of, the planet in front of me. I can't remember if it's Jupiter or something else. Is it Venus, perhaps? I'm sorry, I have completely forgotten everything I learned in astronomy. Oh. What? I'm moving. Why am I moving? I have stopped moving. Okay. I will say, considering this is the creation of the world, or the creation of humanity, or is it the creation of the world? I can't remember, but I suppose at some point, considering the subject matter, but also... What? Yeah. I can without a doubt say that for all the others, this has been the weakest experience that I have had in this art plunge. Good work to the developers, I will say. It is definitely a neat idea, but I think you may have bit off a bit more than you can chew. We have the Leonardo effect here again, wherein the style simply doesn't translate to the grandeur of it all. And also, freaking really? Neat experience, but yeah, if I was better at rizzing in live form, I probably would have come up with a few zingers regarding all of this. But I would need like 5 minutes to figure that out. And I don't think I have so much else to say. Neat experience, all of it, but this was definitely the weak one of the bunch. So, back to the beginning. Well, needless to say, I think that's where we should leave off. Thank you all for watching. I have been Keen, and I hope to see you guys again soon, but I am shy. Why is that monstrosity in my place?